The Trump administration has unveiled a sweeping new deportation policy, marking a significant escalation in immigration enforcement. This policy targets a broad swathe of migrants, including those who entered the country legally under programs established by the Biden administration. At the heart of this policy lies a series of measures designed to expedite deportations and curtail legal pathways for migrants. One of the most significant aspects of the policy is its focus on individuals admitted under Biden-era parole programs. These programs, often implemented on humanitarian grounds, offered a legal pathway for individuals fleeing violence and persecution. However, the Trump administration argues that these programs were overly permissive and contributed to a surge in migration. As a result, hundreds of thousands of individuals who entered under these programs now face the threat of deportation. Adding to the complexity of the situation, the new policy expands the use of expedited removal. This process allows immigration authorities to deport individuals without a hearing before an immigration judge. While expedited removal has been used in the past, its expansion under the new policy raises significant due process concerns. Critics argue that it denies individuals a fair opportunity to present their case and could lead to the wrongful deportation of legitimate asylum seekers. The Trump administration's deportation policy represents a significant departure from previous approaches to immigration enforcement. By targeting individuals admitted under prior administrations and expanding expedited removal, the policy signals a more aggressive approach to border control. The policy has already sparked widespread fear and uncertainty within immigrant communities, and its long-term impact on the U.S. immigration system remains to be seen. President Trump wasted no time in enacting his new deportation policy, signing an executive order on January 24, 2025. This order not only authorized the policy changes but also directed the deployment of 1,500 additional troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. This move, reminiscent of Trump's previous presidency, underscores the administration's commitment to strengthening border security and deterring unauthorized migration. The deployment of troops, while framed as a measure to support Border Patrol agents, has drawn criticism from those who view it as a militarization of the border. Critics argue that the presence of troops creates an atmosphere of fear and intimidation, potentially discouraging asylum seekers with legitimate claims from approaching the border. The executive order also empowers the Department of Homeland Security to take a more aggressive stance in enforcing immigration laws. Acting Homeland Security Secretary Benjamin Huffman has been a vocal proponent of the new policy, arguing that it is necessary to restore order and control to the immigration system. Huffman maintains that the Biden administration's policies incentivized illegal immigration and overwhelmed border resources. The rapid deployment of troops and the assertive stance taken by DHS officials signal the Trump administration's determination to implement its deportation policy swiftly and decisively. The coming months will likely see increased enforcement actions at the border and within immigrant communities, as the administration seeks to make good on its promise of tougher immigration enforcement. A particularly concerning aspect of the new policy is its potential to revoke the legal status of hundreds of thousands of migrants. Previously, individuals admitted under specific programs, including certain humanitarian parole programs, enjoyed a degree of legal protection. However, the new policy empowers federal immigration authorities to reevaluate and potentially revoke these statuses, placing individuals at risk of deportation. This shift in policy has sparked widespread fear and uncertainty among those who were granted entry under the now targeted programs. Many of these individuals have established lives in the United States, contributing to their communities and raising families. The prospect of having their legal status stripped away and facing deportation proceedings is a terrifying prospect, leaving many in legal limbo. The process of revoking legal status is complex and often depends on the specific circumstances of each case. However, the new policy grants immigration authorities broader discretion in determining who is eligible for deportation. This lack of clarity and potential for arbitrary enforcement have drawn criticism from human rights groups and immigration advocates. The potential for mass deportation under this policy cannot be overstated. With an estimated 1.5 million individuals admitted under Biden-era programs potentially affected, the human cost of this policy could be immense. Families could be torn apart, and individuals who have built lives in the United States could be uprooted and sent back to countries they fled from. The Trump administration's decision to expand expedited removal is one of the most controversial aspects of its new deportation policy. This process, which allows for the deportation of individuals without a hearing before an immigration judge, has long been criticized for undermining due process rights. Under the expanded guidelines, expedited removal can now be applied nationwide to individuals who cannot prove they have been physically present in the United States for at least 2 years. This expansion significantly broadens the scope of who can be subject to expedited removal, raising concerns about potential miscarriages of justice. Critics argue that expedited removal denies individuals a meaningful opportunity to present their case for asylum or other forms of relief. Without a hearing before a judge, individuals may not have access to legal counsel or adequate time to gather evidence to support their claims. This lack of due process could result in the wrongful deportation of individuals with legitimate claims for protection. Legal challenges to the expanded use of expedited removal are already underway. Several organizations have filed lawsuits arguing that the policy violates constitutional rights to due process and is based on a misinterpretation of immigration law. These legal challenges will likely take years to resolve, leaving the fate of countless individuals in limbo.